Nothing like a good cup of coffee early in the morning. Hi, my name's Dennis, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about birthday presents. Anyway, I have 6 children, and this past June was my birthday, and my 6 children were busy. They're all grown. Their ages are 27 to 41. Matthew's my oldest. And then I have Christopher, and then I have Kathy, and then there's Daniel and Timothy and Elizabeth. I call her Zuzu. Anyway, respectively, they're just all, they work for Microsoft. They work for the school districts as teachers and everything else. Special needs. They lawyer. Kathy's a lawyer. So in other words, they're very busy. Anyway, on my birthday, it wasn't too much of a whoop-to-do because it wasn't a major one. I wasn't turning 80. So anyway, they kind of were so busy and Matthew carried the ball. Anyway, and he got me a Bulova, the Lunar Pilot. I call it. It's nice. It's got something about the space stuff on the backside. I think I did a review on it. I'm not sure. If I didn't, I'll check and I'll do one on it. Because it's a nice little watch. In fact, I'm quite pleased with it. I mean, it's quartz, but it has a sapphire crystal on this one. It's a nice watch. Anyway, move on. Had a nice birthday. Nice and not too, it was really quiet, sort of, not really big and huge and festive. But nonetheless, it was my birthday. We moved on, and then July the 4th came around. And my son, Matthew, and I have always had this conversation between us about Rolex watches and how and he would say they're the greatest thing since sliced bread and they walk on water. Not quite that intense, but yeah, he really believed in them. And I'm going, okay, all right. I got a Tercel here that was made by probably the world-renowned watchmaker from Korea, Mr. Otis. Okay, anyway, it looks like the Rolex Hulk. Really nice. I mean, the engineering of it, the attention to detail and everything else, it's just really a very nice watch, made watch. And so I would use that to compare with the Rolexes on Matthew. Well, on 4th of July, my son says, Dad, I want to take you down. I made arrangements at this jewelry store for you to come in and you can look at all the Rolexes and I want you to see. And I says, okay. So I took my Tercel and I put it on my little arm and I says, yeah, I'll go down there and show that to the guy. Let's see what he has to say. Went down there. Lo and behold, we went down there and there it was, the jewelry store in all its splendor, and it was closed. It's the 4th of July, of course. So we came back home, had a nice 4th of July, blew the world up, and then we came back the next day. Matthew and his daughter, my oldest granddaughter, Megan, down to the jewelry store, inside, people, I have to tell you something, the people were just phenomenal. They were really, really nice. And I didn't get a sense of that they were nice because I might buy a watch. They were just nice. And that was nice. That was refreshing to me. And anyway, so I'm looking around this jewelry store and there's a plethora of different watchmakers, but I noticed one thing right away. These are very high-end watches. Yeah. Very high-end. I'm talking about, they ranged anywhere, I imagine, from, $10 to $100 to $200,000 for these watches. Patek, Breguet, IWCs, blah 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 blah. Some of the ones I can't say the name because I don't know how to pronounce them. And so, but anyway, and they're in its own little world. It looked like it was a kind of room that kind of junted off a little bit. Was a bunch of Rolexes, and so we all headed over there. And this salesman that was going to show us all these watches came up. He says, "Sir, what's your name?" And I says, "I'm Dennis." And he says, "I'm John. May I call you Dennis?" I says, "John, you can call me Dennis all you want." He says, "Well, Dennis, over here on this counter, I got it all set up. I want to show you a bunch of Rolexes. Your son says that you don't, you have this, don't believe how great they are." And I'm going, "Okay, let's go." So he starts showing me these different watches. Now I have to say one thing about it. There was a plethora of Rolexes, and 90% of them were so gaudy that I would say you had to be a pretentious asshole to buy them, because they're just so gaudy. I'm going, okay, never mind. But there were some that I liked, and he was showing me those. And when I was looking at it, and I'm going to take this watch off and kind of demonstrate what I was doing. When I was looking at them, I noticed that some of them, and when I was looking at them, and I'm an engineer, and I look at the way, the attention to detail, the not just that, but how things are engineered in such a way that they marry in, and the tolerance, the close tolerance of them was, so I was looking like the band, and I'm wondering, well, is the band going to flex this way, like, against its axis? And I was just like, this one, doesn't flex very much, okay? It's very well engineered. It has very close tolerance, and the Rolexes did too. So I says, okay, I can't talk to him about that, because I already knew about this one. I didn't take it off, but I already knew how, so I couldn't go, well, this, that, and then the casing, and how it's, the casing, the band, how it's engineered in such a way to form with your wrist so that it's not, sticking out here and sticking down in your arm and things of that nature. So, okay, it's engineered just like this Tercel is, and I'm going, okay, I can't sit there and knock it there saying, oh, this Tercel's better, because it wasn't. I think I have to give it to the Rolex people, because it was just a little bit better, just a little bit better. Now inside, the movements I can't speak to. I don't know much about the movements. I know Rolex makes theirs in-house. I know that a lot of dealer watch companies and watchmakers, like this one, Mr. O, he takes an ETA, a real nice one, and then he tears it apart and does his voodoo that he does and puts it back together. And now it's I don't know what you want to call it. It's an ETA O. Anyway, and it's really nice. It has, when you put it on the mirror, you have great amplitude. I mean, anywhere from like 289, 290 something to 3 something, almost 3, it's really nice and high. It's got a line that's, you could serve dinner on because it's so flat, like one plus or minus, so, and the Rolex is in that same field, so I'm going, wow, this is really nicely made, and I'm pleasantly surprised by these Rolexes that John, the salesman, is showing me. And he says, Dennis, I got one I want to show you. I just got it in yesterday. I only get one of these about every 4 to 5 years. 4 to 5 years? Wow. Yeah, they're in such high demand that I'm only authorized to get one every 4 or 5 years. I have to get on a list. And when I get it in, my patrons of my store here, they come in and it's gone real quick, and I'm going, oh, okay, let's do this. So he brings out this one Rolex and fits it on me, and he starts explaining about the clasp and how it has a micro adjustment and a bunch of other nice things about it. And I like the blue. I like blue. I like green. I like colors. And the blue on this was, the face is a faceted type cut face. So it's kind of like has peaks that are going all the way around it. And so that when it, like this, when you turn it, it kind of has that flow, that lighting, and then that change of color look to it. Really, really nice. And the hands were, and it immediately dawned on me, like part of my engineering is I like things that are engineered in such a way that they complement each other. So I'm looking at this Rolex and I'm saying, wow, they did do a good job. The case complements the bezel, and the bezel complements the case, and the dial complements the bezel, and the case, and the hands. They complement it all complements each other. Everything is just so artly engineered. Maybe I should use that. Capital. Every time anybody says artly engineer, I want a quarter. Anyway, and I said, it's really nice. So my son, and I'm starting to take it off because I'm tired. I've been there a while, looked at a lot of Rolexes, and I'm ready to go. You know, exit stage, right? Anyway, John's sitting there and he's helping me take this off, and Matt says, you know, Dad, do you like that watch? I says, yeah, of course I do. It's really, really nice. And he goes, don't take it off. And I says, I've got to give it to John. He says, no, we're buying it for you. What? My son then tells me that him and my other son got together and talked about it, and they said, Dad, we wanted to buy you the best watch we could, and the best watch made. And the only way we could, and we got together and we pulled our monies together, and we want to buy you this watch because you've done so much for us. And, you know, in the past you have been there for us all the time, and now we want to show that appreciation. Well, I'm blown away. I'm just, you know, I'm fighting back tears, you know, and Megan is, you know, she's trying to fight back tears because she's emotional. Girls. Anyway, and John, the salesman, he goes, I've never seen anything like this before. And he felt like, oh, I feel honored to do this, to sell this watch to you, to honor your father like that. And anyway, so long story short, we'll cut it to the end. I used to say I would never, ever buy a Rolex or any of the other pretentious watches. I would never, ever own one. Because if I did, if someone was to give me one, I'd turn around and sell it and use the money elsewhere. Probably on one of my kids or something, but nonetheless, that's what I would do. And but it comes that little statement I said at the beginning. When it's a present, it's a different category of an item. So here's the Rolex. Where is it in the camera? Right there. Anyway, I got the Rolex. I can't sell it because it's a present from my kids. I can't. It's like ties that a dad gets early in the morning when it's your birthday and the kids come running in. Daddy, it's your birthday. Bung, it's your birthday. Bung, bung, jumping up and down on you in the bed. And you, oh, let me sleep. No, Daddy, it's your birthday. Here's your present. Open your present. And they're so excited, and you open up the present, and there's that tie. And you know, you already got a plethora, you got 100 of them already from the other birthdays. But I mean, you say thanks, and you get a big old smile on your face because this is your kid. They're in there, they're all excited because they got you something. You can't give that tie away. You can't give it to your brother. You can't give it to your dad. You can't give it to your neighbor. You gotta keep it. You gotta keep it all the time, because somewhere down the road, Dad, what happened to that tie? And you don't want that to happen. So I got every tie, every belt, not the socks. Socks wear out. Man, the children understand that. But anyway, and I got a Rolex, and I'll have it till the day I die. It is a nice watch, and I will do a review on it, and I know you guys will love it. Now, there's one thing my children also taught me to ask you people. There's a subscribe button down below, and they're asking me to ask you to press the subscribe button if you like what you're hearing. Press it and hit the like, the finger, the thumbs up. And then there's a bell. Now, I know what the bell's for because I push that, and that's how I get updates on some of the videos that I like to view all the time. So that's what I do, asking you to do that. Be careful what you wish for on your birthday. You might get it, and then again, you might get a surprise. Thank you. God bless, and keep your powder dry.